Welcome back to Flow State, everyone. How you doing? I hope you're well, calm, collected, empowered, full of fucking vigor. Had an excellent week. A week that was based on clarity and creating momentum for yourself. A week based on actualizing your purpose through aligned action. Welcome to Flow State. Welcome to Everyday Action. We are going to be talking about mindset today. This is our ongoing series linked up to the Growth Blueprint curriculum. If you're just discovering, oh, that's cool. I haven't seen that car before. Huh. New Volkswagen. I'm always curious. Sorry, totally fucking aside. Welcome to Flow State. It is crazy how many new car manufacturers are just popping out of fucking thin air. Like, all of a sudden, China, I guess, fucking funded like 100 new car manufacturers, and then overnight, it feels like they just appeared. There are hundreds of new cars that I see like all the time, brands that look like they've been around forever are just popping up like it's a fucking, I don't even know what, like vending machines. It's crazy. And, you know, I feel like traditional car manufacturers are playing catch up, even though they've had like decades and in some cases like 100 years of manufacturing practices to compete. But in some way, all of these new brands feel fresher and less bogged down by the weight of history. I don't know, but that Volkswagen was pretty dope. That's kind of an interesting brand because they've been around for forever. They've reinvented themselves a million times. And it's something that I think, I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of an interesting thing. I'm curious, have you experienced this new wave of car manufacturers and just, I don't know, whatever. That Volkswagen just got me thinking about it. And there's like brand new dealerships that are being built for these new brands. And it's like, it just blows my mind how quickly some enterprises get financed, backed. Could it be a psyop? I don't know. Maybe. Anyways, welcome to Flow State. I feel like I got to start that over again. If this is the first time you're dropping in, I genuinely appreciate your presence. And what you can expect is a little bit of what you just experienced, which is I press record and we fucking go, baby. We have a general idea of what we're going to be talking about, but when we get into it, then we see where the flow, the energy, the vibe takes us. And in general, these episodes are synced up to my weekly content rhythm, which is based on the Growth Blueprint. If you're not familiar, I would encourage you to check the show notes. My main offer right now is our Thursday live coaching sessions. No cost, only show up, be present, get ready to do some work for 60 minutes, and take that work and implement the strategies and tools you learned, those aha breakthroughs that inevitably will get brought up to the surface for you during that 1 hour session, and you live into that. Every day moving forward past that point is a new beginning. It's a new opportunity for you to derive more clarity, more aligned action, more purpose-driven momentum in your life. I coach people primarily on clarity and holistic living. So there's a lot more to it, and that synopsis line really does change over time depending on the context in which I'm speaking. So today, mindset. And mindset's an interesting one. I'm really constantly playing with this idea of like reframing or recontextualizing what events, what outcomes, the output of my effort, and my clients as well, and using this as an opportunity to go deeper into understanding better how we can change human behavior and amplify our effectiveness in our pursuit of whatever that is, whatever you have going on in your life. And I say this quite often, this is really nothing to do with me, this relationship that we have. And whether you're just getting to know me, or whether we've worked together in the past, or are actively working together, it's really about amplifying a state to create abundance in your life. And I'm not talking about, like financial. I mean, that is one thing, but abundance as a whole, a holistic approach to living through alignment, through vitality, through purpose. And whether you have a career of 30 years, whether you are just getting started in your journey, it's less about a purpose like I align my actions with this one thing and that gives me meaning. It's less about that and more about I am my purpose. You are your purpose. This is the greatest kept secret that I feel no one actually addresses or talks about. You are your purpose. This is something that I've been saying for years, and to me, it is really the basis for which we choose to show up. We have tools to amplify our clarity, to get better momentum with managing our time, our days, how to align our actions with our core values and our ambition to drive everything forward. But you are your purpose. You. And it's, not a narcissistic thing to choose you over others. In order to serve others, you must choose yourself first. You must be clear with what you want, how you want to show up. You need to be grounded so you don't fuck up other people. Think about it. It's like do you ever want to go into surgery or go to court or interact with a police officer or any kind of any position in which you are trying to either defend yourself, take action on, need assistance? You don't want those people you're interacting with to have had a bad day or to be hungry or to be pissed off and then bring that shit into the fucking interaction that you're expecting from them. I mean, what the fuck? Talk about, do you know, actually, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's staggering. You could easily just look this up on the internet. And there was some kind of study or metric, I forget. It's all very kind of fuzzy, but the premise is I'm 100% sure on, which is they analyzed court cases in the United States based on one criteria: before lunch, after lunch. And the timing right before lunch was kind of like this danger zone of shit, And I'm sure you could apply this to the medical profession as well. I mean, that's just me talking here. And so, the judges were much more favorable to the, whatever, the plaintiffs, defendants, whatever the case is. I don't know all the specific criteria. Than they were right before lunch, when they fucking were hangry or whatever. It's like there's a big impact that you have on the lives of others, whether you're truly aware of it, and in my language, conscious or not, it really comes down to so many factors, so many things that you are in control of. 99% of the shit, you're in control of it. It's just choosing to be in control or succumbing to unconscious behavior, just patterns of past behavior that have been the catalyst for where you are currently now. Fuck. Mother. Got the rocks in my shoes. Maybe I need to. So, okay. Let me just take care of this shit. Alright. I love toe shoes. I love these Vibrams. But sometimes they're a little tricky. If you're interested, I have a link in the description. Absolutely love these shoes. So, let's just check. Ooh, it's kind of a rock and roll kind of day. Right. Let me just start. Well, whatever. Fucking. Let me just say that. Sorry, looks like someone's been here. Wow, crazy. Hearing this up. The Growth Blueprint is a framework for personal growth and development. It starts by assessing where you currently are in this moment, the present moment. It's not about creating anything. It's about getting clarity on where you are, how you're sitting with your inner ecosystem, which you can dive more into, and just preparing your body and mind for what's to come, which is a commitment to yourself. You start by educating yourself and getting clear on your need for vitality. You move then into core values, then your then your mindset, which is where we are today. The mindset is, look, I say each pillar is everything, and in many ways it is. So there's no hierarchy per se, other than the first two, which I think are non-negotiable in their gravitas, which is that you need fucking energy to do anything, especially if you want to perform at a high level. If you want to be a high performer, then you need to manage your energy. You need to be mindful of your recovery, and you got to get your fucking ass to the gym. You got to move your body mindfully with intention. You have to move weight. You have to be challenged psychologically. You have to recover appropriately. You have to be consistently building strength and resilience for yourself. Putting yourself in a difficult position consistently will pay dividends beyond your wildest dreams or expectations. Vitality is the bedrock of everything that we do here. So, after mindset mastery, we get into time management and prioritization. Really getting an understanding of how to properly and effectively leverage your 24-hour clock time, the same amount of time that everybody on planet Earth gets. But, some people seem to accomplish way more in less time than those who are constantly busy jerking off or fucking busy doing whatever and not actually creating meaningful momentum in their life. After time management and prioritization, we can sink our teeth into aligned action. I'm just so fucking grateful to be able to come here, and it's like I never get tired of this shit, and it's true for every situation I'm in. I lived in Montreal for many years, and that place is a dungeon, okay? Starting now in these months, the sun gets really fucking low, and it's dark as shit. You wake up, it's fucking dark. You go to work, you leave work, it's fucking dark. It's depressing as shit, and it's cold as fuck. Like minus 30 on a regular basis, Celsius, that is. I wonder at what point Fahrenheit and Celsius link up. It might actually be minus 30, where then it's like minus 30 Fahrenheit, minus 30 Celsius. Anyways, I still express gratitude. It was amazing, even though it's not this. You cannot be in a bad mood and be grateful at the same time, right? It's like scientifically impossible to be in gratitude and pissed off at the world. Most likely at yourself. It's just not possible. And so to be constantly practicing gratitude, like in that moment there, I genuinely felt it. I'm feeling it now, but it's like I don't need to beat a dead horse. And it's the same thing regardless of where you currently sit in your life, in your location, whatever that is. You could be looking at 4 white walls right now in a room with no windows. But you know what? You can still be grateful for the fact that you're alive. You might be recovering from some kind of insane accident, and you know what? You're still alive. So there's plenty for us to be grateful for, and to build it into a resilient mindset of a daily practice is really only going to deepen your ability to express and feel that gratitude on a cellular level. Not just say a bunch of shit and be like, oh, I'm grateful. No, I'm talking about deep and profound meaning attached to what it means to feel gratitude on a cellular level, not just expressing words into the ether. I mean, what does it mean to practice gratitude? What does it mean to feel grateful? How are your aligned actions different when you're in a state of gratitude versus when you are not? Mindset is about primarily asking questions that challenge our current belief or system that we are leveraging in that moment. So the article that comes out with the podcast addresses this one particular kind of niched topic, right? It's about how to reframe ideas and experiences and outcomes that in one frame, you'd be like, that was a failure. And in another frame, it was an experience in which I learned how to do something better. But getting grounded in that process of reflecting and thinking about how to start asking questions of yourself with the frame of mining for clarity. So mining for clarity is a process in which you extrapolate an outcome from a negative outcome. So is it a learning experience? Is it something that you realized that there was a mistake and that the next time you do that thing, you can take advantage of this outcome that you got clarity on and do better? Create an opportunity for growth within that experience so that you can excel. You can create momentum for yourself. You can understand with a greater sense of clarity how and what went wrong, and then how to take that information and actualize it into momentum, into better results, into a new way of thinking that with practice will become second nature. It's not an easy thing just to say and then do and put into practice and be like, oh yeah, this is something that I'm doing. It's more laced with creating momentum in the work, in the practice of reframing, asking questions, and then really letting that information sit. Because if you're not going to then take action on that information that you just mined for, what the fuck is the purpose of doing it anyways? You're just like, it's cerebral masturbation, like, oh, you know, whatever. So the thing to focus on is the practice, is the work, is the ideation of information in alignment with your output. What are you going to do next? It's like creating ideas for yourself from the information that you just got because you were asking questions. Oh shit. Should we scale down this? It's kind of sketchy here. Oh yeah, live to tell the tale. Fuck, now I just lost my train of thought. Oh well. Welcome to Flow State. So anyways, I just lost my train of thought. I'm going to pivot to a request that I make every episode, which is please drop in the comments and connect with me. Let me know where you're dropping in from. That I'm curious more than anything. And secondly, my primary thing, how can I help you? How can I be in service to you? What struggles are you going through? Where do you need more clarity in your life? How can I support you reframe limiting beliefs about yourself, about the outcomes that you're creating for yourself? Where do you find yourself seeking guidance, but not quite able to create that momentum for yourself to be able to then put that information into action and therefore creating momentum? The practice of personal development is a privilege. It's a privilege to invest in yourself, and not everybody takes the time to do it because it's challenging, it's difficult. It puts you in an uncomfortable situation when you're really honest with yourself and your actions and how that aligns with your thinking of your how that aligns with your thinking and your ambition and your desires for where you see your life going. What do you want out of life? You must get clarity on this great and important question. Most people haven't done the work, and you're here doing it. You're here in this conversation now with me in the present moment. I mean, this is a recording, but still, your actions brought you to where you are sitting, standing, engaging with this video right now. It's something to think about and consider deeply. There is so much opportunity that gets left on the table. If you think about the routine of life and just reflect for a moment on your routine, you have so many systems that you're leveraging every day, whether you're conscious of it or not. Your morning routine, your evening routine, your lunch routine, your pre-work routine, your after-work routine. You know, these are all chosen systems that have either been chosen for you or you have manifested them through hypothesis, execution, and refinement, whether you're conscious of it or not. You've done this. You've already done it. Everybody on earth has some kind of routine, some system that they've already been implementing, some for decades and years. Like, you ever meet someone who's been like, I've been, I've been plumbing, fixing people's plumbing for like 55 years. And then, maybe they've been doing it wrong for 55 years. Or maybe there's something that they were doing because they were taught this thing by someone that was in a higher position than them when they first started doing whatever this profession is. But maybe that little piece of insight wasn't really quite on the money, It was like 80% there. But then because of limiting belief structures and systems, you never actually questioned whether the thing that you were doing or whether the thing that you were taught was in fact as optimized as it could be, or whether it was actually something that really in that moment for the individual could drive forward with progress. And so to be questioning everything that you do all the time, right? And bringing a deeper sense of clarity and perspective to how you are approaching your actions. Because the output of what you're doing right now in this moment, you're gonna start feeling that 3 days from now, right? It's not everything, look, certain things are instant, like you hold your breath, you jump in the water, you don't come up for air, you're gonna fucking die. That's a pretty instant thing. It's not really something that you're gonna feel 3 days from now. But something that you will feel 3 days from now is lack of sleep, is lack of prioritizing your health, is constantly taking shit and not standing up for yourself. That is going to erode the fabric of your life, and it is a nasty fucking place to be. Most of which can be resolved through extrapolating clarity within the context of these frames that you're living in. If someone at work is constantly talking down to you, that will eventually catch up to you. If you're not standing up for yourself and expressing your truth in that moment, that will eventually catch up to you. I know firsthand how debilitating that is, because I lived it for years before there was this kind of like moment of clarity and aha that forever changed the course of my life. And part of that is baked into the mindset course within the Growth Blueprint framework. It's one of the reasons I'm so confident today. It's one of the reasons that I have so much clarity today. It's because I'm in practice of doing the work. Everything is really based on how much energy you have and whether you have chosen your core values or they were chosen for you. And so it's the same thing with your mindset. You're either choosing to work towards what I consider to be the pinnacle of a mindset, which is antifragility, okay? Meaning that no matter what the fuck happens outside of your head, in between your two eyeballs, it doesn't affect what happens inside your head. That is elite level shit, okay? Elite level shit. And that's something to strive for, right? I'm not saying that this is my reality 100% of the time. That's obviously not the case. Human, you're gonna react to your emotional state, even if you're a fucking, even the monkiest of monks, are not 100% of the time. And it's like, for what? That's not what it means to be alive. It just simply means that something triggered you, and the output of that was an elevated emotional state, your inability to regulate your emotions, and for a moment you went crazy. I mean, that's just kind of the reality of it. If you're not 100% in control of your emotions, you don't have control of your faculties. And if you don't have control of your faculties, you're kind of out of your fucking mind a little bit. And so it's like the people who get enraged for the littlest thing, right? It's not the thing that was the reason for their rage, but it was the answer to their problem, because it was like it's like the old school kettles with the whistle, like, you know? They were just simmering, and then a little bubble, a little bigger bubble, and then all of a sudden someone looks at them and they fucking don't pay attention, and maybe someone cut them off, maybe it was their fault, but it doesn't fucking matter. They go, fuck yeah, and they're like smashing on their wheel, and they just fucking lose their mind, man. Could you imagine living that every day? And if that's you, there's a solution to this challenge. It's the growth blueprint. It's the framework for regulating your nervous system, reducing fucking stress and anxiety. It basically doesn't exist when you have aligned action based on your core values, the things that really drive you, you know? And unless you have done the work, unless you have put in the reps, it'll never come to you. It's not like, because you need a framework. You need tools and exercises to guide you, to coach you to the answers that are within you, right? That's the key. The framework is a system to extrapolate clarity, but it's all in you. It's in you, you know? The tools that are available to you in the growth blueprint, in one-on-one coaching, and in general, all of this content, all personal development, it's really to extrapolate answers that are within. It's not about imposing a belief system or imposing what is important to you, to me, to you, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it has nothing to do with me or any other coach or any other guide. It's about driving clarity out from within. That's the main purpose, because for so long, you've just been operating with a kind of like gas, half full, quarter, or maybe it's almost full, but it's like, maybe you can't, or maybe it's too full. Maybe there's just so much gas in there, it's not as effective as it could be because it's overflowing. You know, that's overwhelm, right? And people tend to get overwhelmed when they lack clarity, when they lack focus. You can have all the drive in the world you want, right? You could be like, you know, I wake up at 4:32 every day. I drink 16 raw eggs and 700 grams of creatine. And then I get in my car, and then I go to the gym, and then I smash my head against the wall for 1 hour. And then I take a cold plunge, and then I go in the sauna, and then I lift weights. Yeah, great. You know, that's not gonna do you any good. It might be a little bit of a decompression for you, but the point is, everything needs to work in alignment. Your inner ecosystem is essentially an interconnected network of pillars that are relevant to every action you have going on in your daily life. If you are feeling a deep sense of emptiness, but you are focused on your vitality, that's an indication that your personal relationships might need to be examined. You might be still latching on to relationships that are completely and utterly draining you. You know, you might be completely misaligned with the output of your 8-hour workday because you found yourself in a job through a series of situational outcomes that have put you in this position, but you actually loathe the fucking process of the day to day. So you can't be fulfilled. You can't be flying on all cylinders because you're being sucked dry through a giant fucking hole in your boat, right? The intentionality of your thinking, of the way you manage your thoughts, really is a catalyst for the aligned action that comes next. And I say aligned only because you think something, you consider it, it's like all happening so fast, and then you do the thing, whatever that is. But it could be based on what your brother said, what your sister said, what your dad or your aunt, uncle, mom, whatever, grandparents, school, religion, or lack of religion, whatever. It kind of doesn't really matter because you're existing in this framework primarily created by other people for you and not necessarily in your interest either. Most likely in their interest because they see deficiencies in their life and they're like, oh no, my son or my daughter is not going to do what I did, or I fucking played football for this team, so you are going to play football, you know? Fuck that. That's insane. Truly, truly insane. Because that was their life, okay? And all of this, like, you know, I mean, let me just clarify. With morals, right, morality, and quality judgment, these are learned skills. This is not just like you're born and all of a sudden you have clarity on what it means to be a good person or how general society interacts, right? These are all things that most people have learned along the way. Anyone who lives with the world around them, like if you're living in the woods by yourself for 20 years, that's one thing, right? But if you have to interact with people, which is, I would say, most people, right? If you have any kind of relationship with any other person, in general, your behavior is either going to be like, people are going to say something if you're just going around yelling all the time or being just grumpy as fuck. Like, you know, whether they're good friends or not, at that point, if you're just kind of eating shit all day and putting that out into the world, society is going to reflect that back to you. And my point is that if you're a parent, right? I mean, everybody had parents, right? Which is different than having a parental figure in your life. Because I understand some people do not have parents, but they were born from parents, right? Okay, I didn't think I had to explain that, but anyways, I did. So, fuck, just lost my train of thought again. Hey, it happens. Let's keep it fucking flowing. Maybe you could drop in the comments. I wish this were live in this moment and someone watching me like, hey, psycho, you were talking about this. So, mental mastery, the main topic of today. Oh, we were talking about programming. We were talking about how your parents, my parents, everybody's parents essentially created a structure or a system for their children. I'm doing the same for my kids. The difference is that I am premeditating and creating a structure that I have clarity on so that I can emphasize things that I believe are going to enrich their life. That's the main difference. That when you are intentional about your thoughts, your actions that are based on something, they have to be based on something. And that's why I say you're either choosing your values or they're being chosen for you, right? They're being chosen by society, what color fucking shoes you wore, all a reflection, right? It's like ping pong all the time until one day you're like, bam, locked in. And you don't even know fucking why. You're just like, I don't know, I do what I do. Like those types of people who just do the thing they've been doing forever just because that's what they've been doing forever. I mean, it could be, I mean, I have spoken to people who are religious and like they practice religion, whatever that is. And they're like, well, I asked them, you know, why do you do it? What is it about this practice that brings you meaning? And just like, you know, I don't know, I just do it. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really make any sense at all. That's kind of crazy. And it's the same thing with anything. The work you do, the friends you have, the activities that you engage in. And what I'm saying is, slow the fuck down. Consider more than what you are considering. Ask yourself questions. What is driving me into this? What am I getting out of it? What is my purpose here? And you can ask yourself these questions for everything. What is your purpose in this moment? What is my purpose with this? You know, I mean, like something so basic. Let's go to a movie. Ask yourself, what is my purpose here? Well, my purpose is to what? Answer the fucking question. Or let's go to dinner. Okay, ask yourself in your head, like, what is my purpose to go to dinner? Is it just to eat? Is it to eat and have meaningful connection, to uplift your spirit because maybe you're feeling a little down? My purpose is to reconnect with someone who I haven't seen in a really long time, and I'm so excited to be with them because I genuinely care about their well-being, and that interaction that we have enriches my life. That's purpose. That's defining what it is you want out of that experience. To go in with intention, to go in with your best foot forward, so you're choosing how you want to feel in these situations. By creating these statements of intention, it couples that with an output of an emotional context. So it's like, I'm going to dinner with a friend who I haven't seen in a long time. What is my purpose? My purpose is to connect with this individual because I haven't seen them in a long time and I miss the bond that we have together. And I'm so happy that we were both able to make time for one another and go there and connect. So you're not gonna, like, that purpose is happiness, connection, love, joy, expanding awareness of the other individual's life, what they've been up to. You're not gonna show up like a fucking piece of shit and start yelling at them. That's insane. That doesn't even make sense because you just laid out what your purpose is. So think about the purpose of what it is that you're doing, how you're doing it, and because of that reflection, you will automatically be creating these verbs for emotion. It's like, right? You have an opportunity, and let me just bring it back for a second. Did I say adjectives? I meant adjectives. Verbs too, actually, but primarily adjectives. So every threshold you cross, consider the opportunity to reflect on what you were doing and where you're going. And use it as an opportunity to charge up how you want to feel with intention what you're going to be doing next. Every opportunity that presents itself that is in essence a threshold, a passage, an opportunity for growth, more awareness, right? We're so locked in to reactive behavior all the time. Reaction. And look, I do it. I'm not fucking, this is a lived, shared experience. But what I have realized, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing, over the course of many, many years of practice and commitment and slowing down and thinking and just allowing my thoughts to settle before opening my big fucking mouth, it's exactly that. To share lived experiences backed by data and science and strategies to be able to amplify you, to be able to uplift, create actionable strategies and systems for you to leverage and live inside to amplify you. That's the thing for me. Connecting with people, helping them, guiding them, coaching them, creating momentum, unstoppable momentum in their life is my purpose. It brings so much joy and meaning as in I am creating the meaning for myself by these aligned actions. One of my core values is service. And so I embody that because I've chosen that as a word, as a definition, the way I define it, which is an outcome of the outcome of the core values course. And just that process alone is worth the experience of doing the work. If you just did that one thing, it would create such a profound shift in your life. And I'll just give a plug here. For the course itself, there's no risk. You have 30 days to get in it. And if you've given it your best shot, within 30 days of purchase, you just send me an email and I'll refund you, no questions asked, if it means that much to you. If you're not quite ready yet for whatever reason to commit to yourself fully. And there's resistance there in those moments, obviously, because it's challenging. You're being really asked, I'm asking some pretty serious questions of yourself. These are private answers, of course. No one sees your work. You're the only one who sees it. This is a self-led course, so it's up to you to do the work, show up for yourself. Create that energy within you. You are your own power plant. You're the one responsible for your life. No one else is responsible. You are. You. When I fully embraced radical ownership of my life, it fucking changed everything. It was a long process. And I did this all on my own. I had no one like me supporting, guiding, helping, pushing, challenging. My primary role as a coach is to challenge with compassion, to push. It's a process of influence. It's a process of behavior change. And when you're able to do it on your own, in the dark, raining, it's like the amount of clarity that gets created. And then I took it upon myself to systemize it. Now I'm kind of getting into a story here, but I might as well share it with you. Basically, I went on a journey, a 9-year journey that ended with a phone call to a friend of mine And I basically realized after the phone call that it was a real coaching session. And I started thinking about this, and it occurred to me that I've been coaching people for years. I've been their support system in my previous profession before I pivoted, changed my whole life to focusing on this. And that moment really was profound, because it's defining something that I had already been doing, and then I went gangbusters and I just wrote down the entire growth blueprint curriculum, which was the foundation that I essentially created unknowingly over the course of 9 years while I was living it and doing it and testing it. And again, it's really the catalyst for creating clarity and momentum and aligned action in your life, to be able to ensure that whatever you're doing, right, it's always being supported by a thought process that you've gone into that you can always reflect back on at any moment. Every day I read my core value statement. There's 3 outcomes to the core value course. You have your core values, the definitions, the kind of thesis paragraph, and then you distill that into your mantra. And so I read one of 3 or all of them every day. Maybe sometimes multiple times a day, depending on what's happening. And, you know, I know that we're talking about mindset here, but it's really something that builds off of the core values. It's the last course before this one, and you just take that energy and you take that new capacity to base everything off of, and you start stacking and stacking and stacking. And you've already built up your energy, you're locked in with that, you're focused, and you're operating with a certain level of kind of like, you're lighter now. Things are kind of brushing off your shoulders, whereas before you were like internalizing them. But part of having an anti-fragile mindset is that you are truly in practice of being resilient to the extrinsic world, right? Antifragility is about locking in intrinsically and regulating what you are in control of. You cannot control what happens outside of your universe, right? Like, I fucking can't control anything right now. I can only control what I say, what I do, how I feel, what I think. You know, you give your best effort to doing this. And the freedom that that comes with is just profound, right? You no longer think twice about leaving something that has fulfilled your purpose for being there. And once your purpose is done, there's no point for you to be there anymore. And so without remorse, without feeling anything, you can just move on, right? But without that clarity, without that focus of like, what am I basing all my actions on? It's hard to justify certain types of behavior. And people do this all the time, where they want to leave, but they feel like they can't, you know, or they want to do something, but they feel like they can't, right? All of this kind of thinking, this limiting belief structure about how to think for yourself really gets eradicated throughout this process, because again, it's choosing as opposed to reacting. It's creating as opposed to consuming. It takes work and it takes practice. It's not something that can be done in a day. You just need to be mindful. You need to have a framework. You need to have a structure that you can live inside and do the fucking work. Practice, practice, practice. It's a whole lifestyle reframe. That's really what it comes down to. And that's amazing if you think about it, because it's not locking you in to a box of thinking or doing or just being a certain way, dressing a certain way. No one's going to tell you anything. Learning how to express your needs clearly, which is different than a want. You know, I want something is very different than I need something. But making that distinction is also really powerful internally. Like, what's happening in your mind as you are thinking about this? This is something I am really loving, and it's a very powerful reframe for language and the way you talk to yourself, which again is so vital to regulating and calming down, right? People don't need to be amped up more than they already are. That is for sure. Especially when they're amped up on the wrong kind of shit, right? Lack of clarity, ugh. Just reaction, ugh. Not really giving too much thought to their actions, ugh. I'm sure you know plenty of people like that. Just already locked in with a fucking response in the chamber. Like, before the person that they're talking to is finished talking, they're like, blah, 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 blah. Thanks so much for dropping in. I really, really appreciate you showing up, watching, ingesting, digesting, creating, reframing, taking a moment for yourself in this crazy, crazy world we live in, and creating an opportunity for you to create that momentum. Like, you need to make space for momentum. You have ambition, you're driven, you know you want more than what you have, in fulfillment, in resources, in the quality of your relationships, the output of your effort. It all starts with the fundamentals. It starts with the growth blueprint. Check out the show notes. Click the link down below for Everyday Action Live. Thursdays, we go live every Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. It's inside of our private community, Everyday Action. You are surrounded by like-minded individuals who are focused on growth, both men and women alike. This is for everyone who's committed to amplifying the human experience. You got this. I appreciate if you got value from this to please like and subscribe. It really does impact the quality of the reach that we have, and our mission is to amplify the human experience for as many individuals as possible. You got to show up and do the work. No one's going to do it for you. You're going to take responsibility and just own that fucking life. Own it, baby. Till next time, thanks for dropping in. Peace.